Good morning and welcome into the Pats Nation. I'm Corso. Catone is back. Joe is with us in the booth, and you are watching us on YouTube. When you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Give us that thumbs up. Like the show. Leave a comment. We'll play it. We'll talk about it. And, all the good, leave all the nice comments for me and all the crappy ones for Mark, of course. Make sure you're doing that. And then you could also give us a call in Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. It's a message line. Leave a message 24/7. Have a take, or you can email us on our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. And if you're listening, you're doing it on iHeartRadio and all the platforms. Anyway, podcast, you can catch us. Hi, guys. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning. How we doing?
We got to listen. This is our first divisional round game since when? Right?
2018, right?
Let's have a little bit of light snow at the end of the game. No. They're watching a storm. They still don't know if we're getting it. They're not sure. As of this morning, they still don't know.
We'll see.
But it would be at the end of the game. Anyways, not during, more towards the end. But you never know.
This would have been better as a night game then.
It would have been better as a night game because Houston would have had to play in snow. Maybe.
How was May going to be in the snow, though? It wasn't good in the rain.
And everyone says, we'd have the advantage, but this isn't, the old Patriots with Brady. I mean, we don't know how anybody would react to it, right?
Well,
listen, we might hear from Paul from Providence next week, Chris, because they signed Harbaugh. I wonder what his thoughts are.
The Giants. Yeah. He's in hiding right now, Paul from
They
Providence.
signed the dinosaur, Chris.
A
dinosaur.
Let him sign him. I think the Hardballs are done. I think they're dinosaurs at this point.
They got to build a new stadium, not over ancient burial grounds somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, right.
So, but we're going to talk about everything in this one. We're going to go into Drake Mania, talk to quarterbacks in this game, and Pat's preview. We're going to give you our keys to victory offensively, defensively in this division round matchup, and of course Sunday spread. Mark, we picked the games yesterday. I had now we're recording soon, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're recording. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but we have games to pick today, including the Patriots and the night game, which is going to be the Rams and the Bears. So stick around for Sunday spread. Yeah. See if we can make any money. But to start, let's go into the quarterback room. We'll do it in Drake Mania now.
He's a terrific young man, but the greatest quality of him, in at least my feelings, is his humility. Mm-hmm. And I think that comes from his parents and the family. He's got 3 older brothers who are good. Humility. So usually the baby in the family's a little spoiled. But he has a humility that's genuine. And so it's like, putting family first, it's putting team first. Anyone who's solid and has had the privilege of good family understands what this is. And you guys know, if you want to win, everybody's got to put team first, not just in words, but in actions. Mm-hmm. And, and if you do that and everyone can control their ego and do that, then good things can happen. I'll tell you something about him that I really like in his rookie year. And we had so many tough games. And, I don't know, he only played, I guess, 2/3 of the game. Yes, sir. But after every game, he would go around the locker room to the linemen and try to boost them up. And it was genuine. Mm-hmm. So we're really lucky, I think, because some of these young men in that position, especially this social media, people get so caught up with that, they forget what the basic fundamentals of how you build family, how you build a business, how you build relationships is the real stuff and not the quickie.
That, of course, was Mr. Bob Kraft on the podcast with Hoyer and David Andrews talking about his quarterback, Mark.
Yes.
Drake May. What'd you think of that?
Listen, it was
Humility. I thought he was talking about you.
Oh yeah, no, he was talking about you. No, Chris, you know what? If you didn't know he was talking about Drake May, you'd think it was an interview from 15 years ago and he was talking about Brady.
Right.
Right? Think about that for a minute, right?
Well, okay. But was Brady really humble?
I think in his early no, Chris, as he got older, maybe no, because he was who he was. But his first 5-6 years in the league, I think so.
Yeah. Speaking of
those
two,
first couple of Super Bowls, yeah.
Speaking of Brady and May, Joe and I talked about this yesterday on the show on Corso and Catone. You missed the show, by the way. You weren't there.
I know. I missed it. I know.
But Joe and I talked about comparing the two.
I was on the boat with Dick.
You were on the boat with the trying to figure out what that pink stuff is. Yeah. So okay. When you looked at the two players in their first playoff game,
yeah,
not that much different. Look, now understand the 0-1 division game against Oakland was in the snow.
It was like a blizzard.
On the snow. So let's. Yeah. But May was 17 of 29. Brady was 32 of 52. So similar percentages. May had 268, where Brady had 312. So May got a little more out of his day than Brady. 1 touchdown, one interception for May. No touchdowns, 1 interception for Brady. May fumbled the ball. Brady
ran one in though for a touchdown in that game, right?
Brady had a touchdown run for 16 yards, and May rushed for 66 yards. Both of them won the game. Both of them had 16 points. 16-3 win for May, and a 16. Obviously, we remember 16-13 in overtime. The Tuck rule. So not like. It ain't that different, man. No. It wasn't that different.
Wow.
And we broke down that game yesterday, but we got to get to this one. So that what we're going to see today. So, Mark, I mean, who's got the quarterback advantage in this game, first off?
We do. I believe we do without question.
Yeah. And you and I have been talking about this all season long against everybody else. Everybody else was singing, was really licking friggin' Stroud's ass all season long. You and I, not so much with him.
No, couldn't see it, Chris. Listen, if you all you got to do is get pressure on C.J. Stroud, Chris. If he's not able to sit back there and roam around, and if you get some sort of pressure on him, Chris, his ball wobbles. He makes bad decisions. I don't know what the obsession was with Stroud this year, Chris. In fact, they played a couple of games without him with a backup. What the heck's his name? Mills.
Yeah.
Look better. Mills look better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that kid's going to give you the ball. He's going to give you the ball a couple of times in the game. I mean, it's going to happen. And now with probably no Nico Collins.
If Nico Collins don't play and Gonzalez does, Chris, that's a huge advantage. But
Gonzalez is going to play. He's a full participant. He's out of the protocol.
He's playing. So that's going to be it. And I don't know about Collins is going to probably be a game time decision, Chris. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play.
I don't think that was Chris, if you get carted off on the cot,
it was the second concussion of the season too.
Because you're that wobbly, there's no way the NFL is going to let you come back this week. No, there's no way they're going to let you come back.
I would be shocked if he played. In this game, and and rightfully so. So okay, now switching to our guy, but he's got to be better, Mark. I mean, last week.
He's got to be better. He's got to be better. At the beginning of the game, Chris, was the moment too big for him last week? I don't know if you discussed this yesterday.
Little bit. We didn't go there. We didn't mention that. We just mentioned how uncomfortable he looked.
Are you lucky I'm back?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the pearls are back, so
shit.
Yeah,
falsetto.
Mark, we can talk about this. The uncomfortableness you're talking about, from your perspective for this game coming up, is it from McDaniels or May that has to really dial in that uncomfortableness of potentially the beginning of the game?
Yeah, pull it back. Yeah.
Joe
Bart talked about this yesterday we both talked a lot about the Josh McDaniels effect in this game, in that Chargers game, and that he what he did for him that Greg Roman didn't do for Herbert.
Well, they fired Roman the next day.
No, they should have.
Yeah.
They should fire Harbaugh. He's terrible.
Ugh.
I told you that last week. I said if
it
they're
last
going to lose this game, he's going to be a detriment to them. Harbaugh and their coaching staff. And they were, man.
They were. So do you think? So I guess my question was.
I don't
Chris,
know.
do you
I mean,
think the moment was too big at the beginning, and I think Joe's right. I think McDaniels helped bring him back, settle him in. But
no different than it's been. You know,
Okay.
like
Yep.
we've seen this out of him at the beginning
we saw
of
it
the
in
game.
Cincinnati game, right?
And the Tampa game, and we saw
Yeah.
it in different games where
Yeah.
Baltimore, you know, where it looked like the moment was too big, that he didn't look comfortable. I think it's more about comfortableness than is the moment too big. But in this now, he's got that under his belt now.
Yep.
So what's he got to do today, Mark?
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, he's going to have to make some quicker decisions. He's going to have to get to, if he's going to check down, he's going to have to get to it a lot sooner. I think he's going to have to, they're going to have to earlier in this game, Chris. You mentioned it, maybe like the third series to the game last week. You said, Mark, they're going to do something to get him comfortable. They're going to start move him outside the pocket, do stuff to get him comfortable and get him to settle in. And McDaniels started to do that, Chris. I think you're going to do that right from the outset. Sunday, you can't let him sit in there because I'm going to be honest with you. The two edge guys for the Chargers, the two edge guys for the Chargers were very good, Chris. These two edge guys for Houston, they're the best combination. Hunter and Anderson is the best combination in the NFL.
It's scary.
So he's going to have to make a quicker decisions, Chris. Check downs, get out of the pocket, roll them out, whatever you're going to do, because it'll be hunting season for those guys.
The thing about it is, because you're right. When you look at this type of game, and when we go into Pat's preview, we'll talk about the rest of the offense and how that defensive front, what we're going to deal with there. But with May particularly, the issue though, they do what they do. Look, you're not. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're going to see, and we'll talk about this with the offensive line more. But
and I got some ideas when we get into offensive keys to victory. But
I think with May, the issue is going to be Houston's so damn good at getting to the ball. They're so good at flying around the ball. Their linebackers get there. Everybody is to the ball. The short stuff, the edge stuff, it's just not there. You can't. The check down stuff that we're talking about, that works nicely when you got teams that blitz a lot, and this team doesn't blitz at all. They rush 4. That's what they do. There's not even a lot of games they play. We'll talk when we get to the offensive line. We talk 2-man, 3-man games, overloads. We talked about that yesterday on the show as to what Campbell and Wilson was seeing against the Chargers. I don't know if you're going to see as much of that this week because they do what they do, and Houston's the least team that schemes the least in the league. Their defense. What's going to be available to him is the deep ball if they can block it up. So I feel like he needs to get them in and out of good plays with play and using play action after that. So to me, his recognition of where the running game needs to go, changing the sides, changing a right run to a left run, changing the blocking schemes, getting that set. That to me is a big deal this week. What kind of plays is he getting them in and out of on first down? Second down. Because if they can run the ball a little bit against this team's they're susceptible to taking shots down the field. That's where this Texans defense is weak.
Well, this team, Chris, gave up their percentage, believe it or not, as good as the defense is, their percentage of plays 20 yards or more was one of the worst in the league.
Right. Yeah. And that too goes to screen games. But when I talk about the blocking, Patriots like to get into those duo blocks, those gap blocks.
Yep.
That's what they like to do. And fortunately for them, Houston they give that up. So my point with May is, to get to him, is he needs to get them in and out of those plays often. And
think
then
it-
I think you'll see him have some calmness and some success because I think they're going to spy him.
Some of that calmness, I think, would come out of actually using his legs right off the bat at the beginning of the game to just get him out of the pocket and get him
Hit a little bit.
and get those two edges to kind of come in, because when you saw last week what they did against the Steelers, now Rodgers can run.
He chose not to, though. He had lanes to run in, Joe. He chose not to.
And if they do the same thing against him and May just takes advantage of that early on, that'll break that whole system down.
Rodgers can't run anymore, and Rodgers didn't want to get hit, Chris.
Yeah.
No, he saw the writing on the wall during that game.
Yeah.
Did Rodgers. And that was it.
If we see some of those same sort of defensive plays, and May just takes advantage of that early on, I think that'll stunt that sort of situation for their defense, and then allow us to utilize what you guys are just talking about,
But none of it is going to mean anything if he doesn't protect the ball.
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
I mean, that, you got to know when to take the sack. I mean, you got to understand it's not here. We got to fight another day.
Yep.
And that to me is probably the biggest thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that old, Brady philosophy. Live to fight another day. Throw the ball away. Throw it at a receiver's foot. Do whatever you got to do to try to avoid a negative play, and you have to just take the sack. But don't. You know what I mean? Especially in a playoff.
You
game.
said that throughout that game last week. You were telling me that.
Listen, if we lose the turnover battle this week, like we did last week, you might lose this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. So when it starts,
because you know what I mean, you can't get away with that in playoff football. We got away with it last week, to your point, because Harbaugh and that coaching staff is so bad. But I don't think you can do that again 2 weeks in a row, Chris, in a playoff game and get away with it.
Yeah. So May's going to have to take care of the ball, keep him ahead of the sticks, win on first down. And again, this is another week. You got to play with the lead. You got to play with the lead because of what we're going to talk about on the other side. But Drake Mania was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Make sure you tune in next week. Going to have a breakdown of this game and hopefully a small preview, maybe, of the AFC Championship game if we're in it. I hope so. So
I hope.
Keep your fingers crossed. But when we come back, going to go into Pat's preview, talk offensive, defensive keys to victory, and so much more. No flipping.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more Corso and Catone.
Saturdays at noon.
Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, let's get to the keys to victory, and we're going to start with the offense. We're going to do it in Pat's preview, and we're going to do it right now.
Pat's preview.
With Will Anderson and this defense being so good at forcing offenses off the field on third downs, does that change the way that you're going about thinking about, and Josh, the play calling on first and second?
Well, we never want to sit there and be in 3rd and 12. We were 3rd and 15 last week. We picked it up. Chargers were ranked the same as the Texans, and we're going to go play the game. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to play the game. We're going to enjoy it just like we did last week. And again, you have too many of those, I think it's probably a bad thing. But if we find ourselves in those situations, then we'll have to just get ourselves out of them.
As a rookie, what did you notice your last year in Tennessee about what D'Amico was doing to turn that program around so quickly?
I mean, they got a lot of draft picks, and they signed some good free agents.
The fact that the Texans have so many coaches who are familiar with Josh McDaniels, does that make it extra tricky? They can provide even more help to their defense, that kind of thing?
I mean, again, if they know what call's coming, then we should try to get those coaches. I think that there's certain styles of offense, and we've got all our tape, we've got all theirs. So if they know what Josh is calling or they know what we're calling, then they got to jump on us.
Have the best defense. Is this the best defense you've faced?
Yeah, of course. They have great talent, great scheme. They play hard. I respect how hard they play. And they're just not only talented, but they have a play demeanor that I can appreciate.
Yeah. So that was Rabel talking about the Texans. Mark, a couple of questions I have from that before we get into the offensive keys to victory.
Yeah.
He's got something with Ryans. Is there something there? I mean, is there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, kind
Well,
of
they got a
dismissive.
couple- they
That's
got-
the word I've been
well,
hearing all week.
Well, because they got their OC's Kaylee, right? And Kaylee worked under McDaniels and knows McDaniels' tendencies, supposedly, even
Yeah.
though Kaylee went to
It's more of a
he went to the
McVay.
Rams and learned stuff from McVay, but they're saying that, but they may know what McDaniels wants to run. All right.
I mean,
whatever.
okay, but I mean, just as general, the way he was talking about them, like, I heard the word dismissive this week. You know, like, do you feel like, were you feeling that at all from him, that he's kind of be dismissive of the Texans and the coaches and so on? And I mean, okay, so because you look at they have, you're talking Kazirio's there, Kaylee's there, Trent Brown, Miles Bryant, you got other coaches, Shane Vereen.
There's other coaches there. There's
Ben
other coaches.
McDaniels, his son,
Well,
or his brother or whatever.
That's so yeah. So there's a connection. Yeah, okay, there's a connection. I get it. But
Or is it more that, see, Belichick, I heard this also this week. Belichick had to do that stuff. He had to, if this were Belichick talking, he'd be talking about the right gunner on the punting team and he'd be giving loads of praise. I don't want to use the word, I can't on the show, but what he'd be doing to the Texans right now, okay?
Yes, I think our viewers know what.
Yeah, like all kinds of praises, up and down. Vrabel's not doing that, but kind of.
Will Anderson, he's one of the best I've ever seen. And,
right.
And, all that nonsense.
But Belichick had to do that with his team because his team was always the better team. His team was always the veteran team. He needed to bring them to reality.
Yeah.
This is different, though. He's going to make these guys, Vrabel's going to make these guys believe. And what are you going to do? You're going to go out there and to that team and.
Yeah, no, you can't. I'm surprised, Chris. I'm really surprised, believe it or not, that Houston isn't favorite in this game. I'm shocked that Vegas now is all of a sudden giving
3
us
points.
respect and making us the favorite by a field goal. Or at the very least, I thought it'd be like a 1-point line pick.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not
Houston favorite, but
I think it's because of the quarterbacks. And I think Nico Collins has a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
too.
probably.
Okay,
probably.
so offensively,
so here
Mark,
we go. Offensive keys to victory.
go for it.
Well, a couple of things, Chris, that you mentioned. So this team can be attacked downfield with explosive plays, even though the secondary, Stingley and the other guy, what's his name, Chris, the other corner. Lassiter, they're elite. But,
the way they come forward, woohoo!
They're elite. But they're ranked 14th, Chris, in explosive pass play rates allowed. So they're like in the middle of the pack, middle of the league. So that's a struggle for them. I'll tell you what, though, Chris. I know you mentioned their linebackers, and their linebackers are quick and they get to the ball. But if you go and look at the tape, because they play a lot of zone, Chris, believe it or not, you can have success if you can protect the quarterback in that short to intermediate passing game against their linebackers in the zone.
You could do it. But I think the way you do it.
Yeah, it's the way you do it. But if you can protect the quarterback enough to develop it, which is going to be a key, it can happen. Now, the interior of that defensive line, you're not running the ball in between the tackles, I don't think. You're going to have to get to the outside with Henderson. You're going to have to try to get to the yes. You got to keep him honest. You got to run in between the tackles. But Chris, I'm telling you,
and Edwards and these guys that are inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you might be able, as crazy as this sounds, you might be able to bust one to the outside against this team. So when it happens, you say Catone said it. Catone called it. Chris, I'm telling you, as crazy as it sounds, I think you might be able to bust one against this defense on the inside, on the outside.
And who do you
know
think? Who do you think, Williams or Booty?
No, I'm talking about in the running game, Joe. I'm talking
No.
about in the running game. I'm talking about Henderson.
Oh,
Might be able to bust one against this team.
Okay, but let's explore that first. But okay, you're talking. You think because I do think Campbell can get those kick out blocks too. I think he's athletic enough, especially because he's going to see wide nines. I mean, you're going to see wide nines with Anderson and Hunter.
Listen,
Okay.
I think Campbell played against Anderson in college one year. I think Anderson was a senior at Alabama. It was Campbell's first year starting a left tackle, and I believe he went up against Will Anderson in college.
Probably.
I don't know what that tape looked like, but I think he did see him.
Well, look, I agree with you, but I also agree with the fact they're going to have to be able to set it because they're bottom five, believe it or not, this defense in play action, against screens, and in those duo blocks like we talked about. So if you want to run some of that gap block, that gap scheme, and you want to combo block those, you want to double team those, and on the edges, look, they rush 4. They have a 4-man front. They don't very rarely they get into a 5 front or go 0 look or any of that. You don't see it because the linebackers are so damn quick and they get to the ball. Yeah, I mean, I think to me, you're going to have to do some of this because you're going to have to set up to get those big plays down the field. I don't know how comfortable I am about having May turn his back on this defense on play action.
Well,
but
yeah.
But there will be chances there to do it, but you are going to have to run the ball first a little bit, Mark. I think that McDaniels is going to have to get creative. But for some of the good things that the Patriots do well, coincidentally, the Texans are not good against those duo blocks, those screen games. You know, it can be done. It can be done. I want to just talk about the offensive line for a minute. Okay. This is what, and I kind of like this cut.
Honestly, I don't give a what anyone says, to be honest with you. You know, it's easy to, you know, type behind a Twitter account that, you know, is fake. You know, as I hold myself to the highest expectation of anybody, I want to be perfect. And it's hard for me to, you know, get told that it's going to be hard to be perfect. But, you know, the Chargers, obviously I didn't pitch a shutout. You know, I had 2 or 3 plays that I wish I could have back. But that's $300 million and defensive ends, and you know I got a ton of respect for those dudes, and it's going to be like that every week in the playoffs. They had a good group. This team has an extremely well talented group. We win, the next group is going to be just as good, and it's just like this, just playoff football. These are the best teams with the best defenses, the best offenses, the best players. They're in the playoffs for a reason. So, you know, like Coach Vrabel said, you know, I'm sure y'all heard it, you got to be willing to spill a little blood and violence, and you just got to hope you don't spill more than they do. And, you know, that's the name of the game.
How do you think Will Campbell's going to do this week? Because he didn't have a good game. And for that matter, Wilson too.
I think he'll play a little better, Chris. But Anderson, Chris, is so damn fast. Like he's scary fast, but he's not as physical as what Campbell played last week. Some of last week, Chris, Campbell just couldn't handle the strength of that edge rusher for the Chargers. I don't think that will be the issue with Anderson. I don't think it'll be Anderson's strength that overpowers him. It's going to be just the speed.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, yesterday we talked about it, and we talked about my observations.
Because Anderson, like you said, Chris, is going to wide up wide.
Yeah.
And he's going to come.
And it's a lot of problems that Campbell had last week with his hand placement.
More concerned, Chris, believe it or not, on the other side.
With Moses.
I think Hunter's going to run right by him. Right by him.
I think, but see, the thing on the other side, okay, is I think that the ship blocks, I think they'll be able to help Moses more because Moses is Will Campbell was not good with help. So,
Chris, if they help Moses more, though, does that take that running back out of the backfield that you were just talking about, that passing game, hitting the running backs out of the offense?
Well, we're talking on straight pass now. So when you have to pass pro and you need those guys need help, fine.
Yep.
But here's the thing: Will Campbell doesn't do well with help.
No, he does
not.
not.
He didn't like it.
You're correct.
We talked about that earlier in the year. But my biggest problem with Campbell was his hand placement in this game. Everything.
Short arms?
He did, no, not about the short arms, but about where he began. When he would get into his pedal, I said this to Joe yesterday. His arms went outside before coming inside. And look, part of this game is whoever can control inside and get under that breastplate first. That's who's going to win. In the trenches. And for some reason, Campbell wants to move his arms out before coming in, and that was hurting him a lot last week. To say nothing about those wide nines. When you see those wide nines, those guys lined up.
Anderson's gonna be lined up wide 9, Chris, all day.
And his where he set and how he got into his pedal and set, he lost leverage a lot. And so that's got to get cleaned up. He got to clean that up, and I just don't know how much. With you, move the pocket a little bit will help. But you're going to see tight ends in. You're going to see some running backs in. They're going to have something, because I don't think May is going to have to deal with. I don't think he dealt with 2 and 3 man games last week and overloads. And I don't think you're going to see that this week much. Okay. Those little stunts and schemes and crap they're not a scheme team. They just come at you, So
we'll see to your point, Chris, they haven't deviated from that all year. They don't care who you are. They pretty much run the same thing with those linemen.
Tell me quick before we go to break, give me your idea for the wide receivers this week, because last week you were pissed off at the beginning of this game, rightfully so. And it's an issue that we're not going to solve until the Eagles lost. So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, he was in the coach's face. That got ugly.
Yep.
Oh, that got ugly.
And then they're trying to say after the game, they got a great relationship. They love each other. That's just how they act with each other.
Gone.
That's bullshit, Chris. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's. And, So, no, he's out of there. That's it. He's gone.
Chris, listen.
A.J. Brown.
I'm hoping that they don't play what you said we were doing last week, right? Was, you're in a zone, but it's almost like it's a catch zone, man. But it's a catch man. And if Houston plays that this week, I don't know what those corners, Chris, if we're going to get off the ball and get any separate. We're going to it could be a long damn day if that's what they play.
Well, when you rush 4 guys with the effectiveness that they do, you can pretty much play anything you want behind
They do play zone, Chris. They play a lot of zone, but it might be catch man within that.
Well,
with those corners, why wouldn't you?
No, I know. It's those 3-man games. It's that linebacker safety corner game where it's a zone with a man concepts,
Yep.
And that's always tough to decipher. Number one, and it's tough to beat unless you're a real good route runner, which I don't see on this team other than Diggs and Chisholm. Everybody else, I don't think runs great routes. And 2, speed and strength to get off press, which Hollins is not there. So I'm a little concerned about the receivers.
Last week they put Kyle Williams on the field for several plays. You never heard his name once.
No,
he couldn't do anything against those guys.
And he's not going to get off. He's not going to get off press against these guys either. He's not even that. He just doesn't. He's not going to be able to get open with his feet. Not in this game.
No.
So what do you do? Yeah, you got to do it. You got to start from the off. You got to start from the line and move forward, move out. That's how it has to go.
And I'm going to say something, Chris. Offensively, if you get into that red zone, inside the 15-yard line, and you got guys running in the end zone, why is Pop Douglas on the field? Why don't you put Chisholm in there, Chris?
Slipping and falling all over the place.
Right, the routes that Chisholm can give you in the end zone, change of direction, try to get open. Douglas isn't doing any of that for you, Chris. I don't know what the obsession is with keep putting Douglas in on that position of the field.
No, I'd love to see Chisholm on a return route, those whip routes and jerk routes. And
he had the longest catch last week, didn't he?
Yeah, they were 0 for 3 on third down in the red zone last week. The Patriots.
There you go.
That has to be fixed. There you go.
So
So to me, like you said, I play with a lead too. protect the ball, right? It's got to be the first two things. Protect the football, play with a lead. Penalties weren't a huge problem last week. I don't think it will be. So,
No.
But we got to protect the ball. So offensively, those seem to be the keys to victory. But this portion of Pat's preview was presented by Corso Law Group, CorsoLawGroup.com. We come back, going to go to the other side of the ball. Defensive keys to victory, coaching, so much more. Stick around.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
They like to mix it up a lot and confuse opposing offenses.
That's what they do. I call it the mix it up crew. They got a lot of different looks, a lot of different pressures. They do a really great job of keeping you on your toes as an offense. That you don't know what's coming all the time. So for us, you just got to play the plays out. Right? They're gonna surprise you with some pressures here or there. We got to expect pressure. Any given time, it's a passing situation. We have to expect pressure. We got to do a great job picking it up and getting the football out on time. But they have a really good run defense. Milton Williams, defensive tackle, the interior player, explosive, dynamic player for them. I know they're happy to get him back. He was on IR for a little bit, but they're happy to get him back, and he's a disruptive player. And so we got to be able to handle their two D tackles, Milton Williams and also Barmore. They both do a really good job.
That, of course, was D'Amico Ryans talking about our defense, the Patriots defense. And Mark, you know what? Before we get into defense, I just want to I forgot to run this down on our offensive segment, and I wanted to get your take on this. Talk about how good this Texans defense is, right?
Yep.
These are the quarterbacks they played. Okay, these are the quarterbacks they beat.
Mm-hmm.
Ward twice for Tennessee, right?
Yep.
Rush, Mac Jones, Lawrence, who put up 29 on them.
Yep.
Josh Allen, who they, had their way with. That was their signature game.
Yeah, they had their way with it. Yep.
Jones, Daniel Jones, Mahomes, who we can say flat out the Chiefs were not the Chiefs this year.
No.
Jacoby Brissett, Geno Smith, Leonard, Herbert. That's not
and Bo Nix.
No. Was Nix on that list?
He should have been. They played Denver, didn't they?
I don't know if they played Denver. I don't think they played Denver.
No?
Maybe. I don't know. But I think but my point is that's not the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks.
No.
Is it?
But you know what's funny, Chris?
Keep that in mind.
I heard a stat this week saying that they had one of the 5 toughest schedules in the league. But those were the quarterbacks they played. How did they come up with that?
Those were some of the quarterbacks they played. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Now, getting to our defense, which we talked about it yesterday, Joe and I did. I gave my props to our defense for last week in Kerr, and when I went back and watched
you and I were shocked.
The game plan that they came up with was phenomenal. Yeah. And the execution was even better. I mean, we heard Spillane yesterday on the show saying that they didn't know what guys were coming up to him from the Chargers saying we didn't know what you guys were in. You saw zero look because what did they do that we said they needed to do? They did exactly what we talked about in the pregame, which was you got to play man, bring pressure.
Yep.
And let your corners play man.
Yeah.
And they did it.
But on paper, Chris, if you look at the percentages, it looks like they played more zone.
Yeah, but it was a catch man.
It was that catch man. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it was a zone with a man concept, So I don't consider that. We do some of that. I don't consider that truly a zone.
Now,
they played a zone. They played man within a zone. Let's just say it that way.
So now this week, Chris, if you look at the percentages, C.J. Stroud actually does well against the blitz. So do you bring some mug fronts this week and some stimulated pressure? But maybe you're gonna have to try to confuse him and not bring in necessarily constant predictable blitzes, but use the mug fronts to you know what I mean? Confuse him a little
double
bit.
mug, put
right?
the two backers in the A gaps and have a zero look across the board on that double mug, and then maybe drop. Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely do it. Why? Because you know you can play man behind it, especially if no Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Now they have a couple of good rookies.
They do.
Who's a
and that kid Kirk played. Kirk played well last week.
Can he duplicate it? I don't know.
Christian Kirk played well. He had over 100. What, he had like 140 yards receiving. I don't know.
Something like that. But I think that our corner play is better than the Steelers.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So, obviously, if Gonzalez, because Gonzalez had a fantastic, he had an unbelievable game. I mean, and then on the third down, they put him strictly on Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. Yeah.
That's how bad the coaching staff is for the Chargers. By the way, that was who Justin Herbert was going to on third down every single time.
He's not looking at McCaffrey.
No. You're talking
not
about
McCaffrey. McConkey.
McConkey. No, he should have been, but he wasn't.
He should have been.
They had Marcus Jones on McConkey, who did a great job on him too. So I think you're going to see more of that stuff. I think you're going to see a lot of good scheming from the Patriots, and they got to develop. They have to manufacture pressure because, again, our front getting pressure with four has been a problem all year long for the Patriots, and this is not the best offensive line in the world either. I mean, they've had their issues.
Struggled, Chris. I was going to say the last several weeks, this offensive line has struggled for Houston.
Right. Tonga's back, so that's a huge gain for us because any ideas of saying, well, we want to run the ball against the Patriots, keep Drake May off the field, that kind of thing. Tonga puts a monkey wrench into that plan, hopefully, But if you can get a lead on this team, if the offense gets a lead on this team, and defensively, I think we're going to have a good scheme. I was really impressed with what they did.
Because Houston ran the ball surprisingly well against Pittsburgh. That kid had over 100 yards rushing.
They had 164 yards rushing. It was,
that one running back had over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, he was 6 yards a carry at 112 yards, with a touchdown. So Chubb had 48. I mean, they rushed for 160 yards against a pretty good Steelers team defense. So it's what they're going to want to do. I mean, they're going to want to get the lead. They're going to want to run the ball. It's what they're going to want to do. So we've got to play. If we're playing with a lead, I think they're in trouble, Houston.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust Stroud. I don't trust Stroud's ability to read that situation. To see that double mug look like you're talking about, to see that zero look, to see those zones and man concepts going on out there, especially as you get into the red zone. I mean, the Chargers were 0-4 in the red zone as well. Chargers were 1 for 10 on third down, Mark.
Yeah. C.J. Stroud, Chris, it's like the tale of two cities. He's a totally different quarterback when he's under pressure.
Yeah.
So you got to get pressure on him, and he'll fumble the ball. He'll throw a pick. He'll underthrow guys. He'll overthrow guys. What happens? He goes through stretches, Chris. If he's under pressure, where you scratch your head and you say, "How the hell is this kid a starting quarterback in the NFL?" There's been games where I'm watching it and I'm like, "But how the hell is he a starting quarterback?" And then there's games he looks great.
Oh, he throws even last game. He threw a 30-yard pass that was perfect.
Yeah, but if you can get him under pressure, he's a totally different quarterback, Chris.
Yeah, I agree. And as far as for defensively, again, you got to win with them. The run starts with stopping the running game. You stop the running game. You make them play left-handed. Make them do things they don't want to do. Make C.J. Stroud have to read things, have to decipher things, and now they have to stop bringing. You can press up. You take away their wideouts. If you do that and you make Stroud, like Mark says, have to read and have to really decipher what's happening out there, he's going to give the ball to you. Now, coaching wise, they're a very similar team. Like D'Amico Ryan's a very similar kind of culture kind of guy. And this is what May had to say. When we talk about the coaching, we're
just talking about, there's 24 teams at home right now. There's 8 of us, practicing and still working. And it's, He mentioned us today before practice. Take a look. Raise your hand. Who was still practicing this time last year? And I think Milton was the only one. So it was pretty just eye opening to see there's eight teams left, and it's a chance, an opportunity that we have to play a home football game and home playoff game that matters at times when it matters most. So just kind of reflect on that and realize kind of opportunity we have, and at the same time, how much work we've done to get here and enjoy it, and at the same time, he just reminded us to take advantage of it and know that we got a chance.
And that was Drake May, and that was Vrabel's message. So, coaching, who's got the coaching advantage here? Do you think, just overall? And do you make anything of that? All those other coaches that were played with us. I mean, you mentioned it earlier.
Nah, I don't necessarily make anything of it, Chris. You
The
know what I
play
mean? Do you?
No, I don't.
So coaching advantage, Chris, I'm going to say Vrabel only because we've seen DeMeco Ryan in these positions before, and his teams kind of implode a little bit in these games.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Vrabel.
I'm going to give it to Vrabel and stretch.
Stretch, yeah.
Because I think that there's going to be some points of the game in the game that are going to come situationally that I think the Patriots have an advantage of. And I also think that we have an advantage with
the play caller.
And I think McDaniels is an advantage. I do. I told you, what McDaniels did for May last week, settling things down, is what Roman couldn't do for Herbert.
Yeah, Roman's a cartoon character. He got fired.
So yeah, I like the coaching matchup for us in this game. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good one, and we come back and we're going to talk about we're going to pick the game in a minute. But Pat's preview was presented by Corso and Catone, the Real Deal New England Feel. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Make sure you're coming in. Next week we're going to break down this game, have our full post-game breakdown, and then hopefully on this show the next day we'll have our pregame of the AFC Championship where the Patriots will be in. I hope. We'll see. But stick around for that. But we come back, going to try to make you some money. Pick this game, pick the Rams and the Bears game in Sunday spread. No flip.
Since I wasn't here, also, can we talk about who we would like to see in the AFC Championship and why? We save a little bit of time at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. All that and more.
Right.
Stick around.
Mark, I'm seriously. I think I lost my mind.
Certainly, it was an exciting show.
I want Murray.
What?
That's it.
What is wrong?
Get him on this damn show.
You lost your mind tonight.
That's all I have to say.
Lost your mind.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the Real Deal New England Feel. It's going to be real.
Back in with more Pat's Nation. Yeah, Mark, we do whatever you want. Your name's on the sign, man. Your name's on the sign. We can do whatever the hell you feel like doing, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it in Sunday spread. All right, Mark. Let's do this first. Let's pick this game.
Okay.
Let's give our pick for the Patriots game.
So we're 3-point favorites.
3. And it's, in case you're wondering, it's 40.5.
40.5. All right. Well, I'm going to pick the Patriots, Chris. And I'm going to go
65-10.
Yeah, we wish, right? I'm going to say, Chris, it's going to be 23-17 Patriots. They'll cover.
Yeah. Not much to cover.
No, 23-17 Patriots. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, Chris. I think Houston's defense is that damn good that they'll hang around all game. I think the Patriots will win, but I think Houston will hang around all game with that defense.
What is your final again?
23-17 Patriots.
Joe?
I was going to go 21-16 Patriots.
Okay.
I'm similar to what Joe's looking at right now. I got a 20-17 win for the Patriots.
So you're right on the number. You're right on the line.
Pushing.
You're pushing.
It's going to be a push for me.
37-10 Patriots.
Yeah, I got a 20-17. It's going to
Houston's defense is so damn good, Chris. There's no way this game's not going to be close.
I think both defenses are going to play well.
Yeah, they're going to play well. Yeah.
You know, and so that's what I think of this game. And then let's pick the other game, and then we'll get to the championship.
I only say, Chris, we cover because I just think that Stroud will turn the ball over and allow you to score a little more points than people are giving us credit for, just because I think he might give you a short field.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyway.
No, I do. I think he definitely gives the ball back for sure. Jake
we'll
Andrews, who was here,
see.
is their center. They had trouble. Last week they had a lot of trouble with the center.
Yeah, what was that about?
The center exchange, you know?
It was awful.
The ball was getting snapped back prior to him being ready, and I don't know what was happening. You know, I think the crowd, the weather, you know, I mean, Big said last week about the crowd, I'm disgusted with our crowd, so I don't, you know. But he said, it could be louder. It could be louder. You know what?
For him to say that, that's a challenge. That's a challenge, Chris.
You know, it's a challenge, and you people are pathetic, okay? Let me know. Let me have it. Go ahead. Let me have it. Show me I'm wrong.
The divisional round, it might have been AFC Championship.
You're talking about a 35-year season ticket holder. I can say that shit.
Chris, I think you were at that game? I think you were there when Indy came here and it started snowing. Were you at that game? Or were you out west still?
Yeah,
had you moved yet?
I did, but I was there.
You were there, and I remember you were there because we were tailgating, but I had different seats because the other nut had tickets too. And so I was with him, and the place was berserk from the opening kickoff. Remember? Nobody sat down. It was berserk. Now, like you said, they're sitting down. They got blankets on. It's a goddamn.
No. You know what? I wasn't. That was when you guys went. You went with my tickets on the end of that game. You and him.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I wasn't.
I
there
didn't
for
know
that.
if
You're right.
I didn't think you were there.
No. I wasn't. I thought you were talking about that other indie game. No. I remember. Yeah, I remember.
The Ty Law game. You weren't there.
Yeah. No, I wasn't there.
Well, he picked. What do you have? 3 picks.
3 picks against Manning. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, okay, you're right, but the crowd is not like that anymore, Chris.
Yeah, well, they better get like that.
Sunday.
You know, because you'll go watch Seattle and see what they're like. Now, you know, listen, the stadium has The stadium has something to do with that. The configuration of that stadium wasn't built for noise.
No,
but
it wasn't.
Here's what you need to say to the fans is when they get into the calling out MVP.
Keep your candy asses home. You don't want to yell. Stay home.
If I was the goddamn Patriots, I'd play that clip before this game, just before the game starts, of Diggs saying about what Diggs said about the crowd and try to get them going.
Well, when they get going, calling out an MVP for Drake May, that's the level we need, because they get loud when they're calling out an MVP for him, and it's excitable. But you go, see, you guys can get that loud. You are that loud, but you need to do it on third down.
I will say this, Chris. If you listen to Zolak,
shouldn't be told to have to get up on third down.
If you listen to Zolak this week on his show, he mentioned, and for them to bring this song back, they haven't played it in a couple of years. They used to play it when Brady was here. They but after something happened, they played what the hell's that song by the outfield?
Oh, Josie's out of me, that.
And the joint went berserk. The joint went berserk.
Out of the window singing and like a maniac.
Well, the joint went berserk because I think they knew the crowd wasn't into it.
Yeah. See, you shouldn't need to do that. You shouldn't need to do that. It's the friggin' playoffs. All right, Mark, let's pick this Rams-Chicago game.
Rams-Chicago is an interesting game.
Chicago's getting 3.5 home dogs.
It's going to be like 7. It could be 7 below, like windshield factor. The Rams do the Rams want to play in that? I don't know.
No.
Chicago's going to win this game, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Chicago's going to win this game.
You want to know why?
Why?
I mentioned it. It's the 40-year reunion. Bears Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, why did you
why did you bring it up, Joseph?
Oh, you suck.
And we win it.
We win it all. Was that a miserable game? Chris, was that miserable? That Super Bowl? Oh my Lord.
So I'll go first then. I got Chicago. Chicago's getting 3.5. I got them winning outright in this game. It'll be a tight game, but I got them winning this game 27-24. I don't think the Rams are going to hit 30. I think the Colts going to get to them. I think it's going to bother them. I think the defense for the Chicago will show up. I think Ben Johnson will get Caleb. I think this will be the game Caleb Williams actually falls in line with what Ben Johnson wants and doesn't do a lot of stupid things. And I think Chicago wins an upset at home, believe it or not, to get to the NFC Championship game, Mark. What do you think? Am I just being
so I was gonna pick Chicago too, Chris, and then I started thinking how if Chicago plays as bad in the first half this week as they did against Green Bay, the Rams got a better offense than Green Bay. The score will be like 27-10 at the half. They'll have 30 points at halftime.
Yeah.
If Chicago plays that bad in the first half of this game, this isn't Green Bay's offense.
No.
Like, we know that, right?
Were you really impressed by the Rams last week?
I wasn't, but I wasn't impressed by Chicago either. I think that the coach for Green Bay pulled a typical, he wet himself down his pants, which is what he does in the playoffs, But so, no, I wasn't impressed with the Rams. No, I was not. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go Rams.
Okay.
30-27. Rams don't cover. Chicago covers. But I think the Rams win it late on a field goal. 30-27.
Joe?
The opposite. Complete opposite.
30-27 Chicago?
Yep.
Okay. But all three of us have Chicago covering, Chris. Either they're winning outright, or I'm saying the Rams are going to win the game, but they're not going to cover.
Yeah. So I guess take Chicago with the points.
Take Chicago with the points, I guess, is what we're both
if you're
saying,
betting
right?
the game.
But
you guys like the Rams to win the game. Just
no,
not
Joe
by
don't.
More than three. Oh, no. You do, but not Joe. Yeah, okay.
I think the
All
Rams
right.
will win, but I would take Chicago if I was betting.
So talk to me. You wanted to go a little further.
Quickly, yeah.
Oh,
So,
no,
Chris,
quick, go
who
ahead.
do you want to see? Listen, the more I thought about this week, you and I had conversations on Sunday night, Monday.
Don't tell me you want to go to Denver. Don't tell me that. Don't,
Okay, listen.
let me
finish. Let me finish.
You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses,
Oh,
would you?
look at this. Look at this. He took out the Rothsteins. Look at him. I should have never got involved with this broad, Frankie. Listen. Now. Listen.
He's back.
Listen. So now, Joe, erase it. So now, do you really want Josh Allen in an AFC Championship game? Let me finish, Chris. He's not playing Mahomes.
Yeah.
If he gets to this point again, he scored 5 touchdowns in a row last time he was here, Chris. You don't think he's going to put the cape on and say, Jesus Christ, there's no Mahomes across from me. There's no, I don't want to deal with that crowd, with that insanity. Guys, get on my back. I'm taking us home. In the second half of the AFC Championship, he's going to tell them, get on my back. I'm taking us home. And I don't want him. I don't want to see him. I think Denver's a falsetto. Okay? I think Bo Nix, teams have figured him out, Chris. The last 6 or 7 weeks, is good of a OC and as good as a play caller as the head coach is.
Now, you just gave away the fact that we're recording on Thursday.
What do you mean? I don't care.
That game happened already.
I know that.
Yesterday.
I don't care. But I'm saying to
But
you.
everybody, we're recording on Thursday, so we have no idea what happened in that Saturday.
We don't know what happened.
No,
We don't know what happened. But you mean to tell me you want to see Josh Allen?
Yeah.
The more I'm thinking about it, Chris, I don't want to see him.
Because I think the Buffalo Bills are.
They are, but I think Denver's more of a falsetto.
Listen,
and
no,
we're undefeated on the road.
Listen,
we haven't lost a game all year on the road.
I understand, but there's a difference between going on the road to, the crumbs that we played and then going in.
Oh, now you're going to get into the schedule.
No, I'm just saying, there's a difference between going on the road in the AFC Championship game.
I know.
To a place that's a house of freaking horrors. That Denver. Listen.
Used to be.
Yeah, look, here's the thing, okay?
All right, so you'd rather play Superman.
I'd rather play because I don't think he's Superman. That's why.
Okay,
Here's why. Because they don't have any Buffalo, you're playing them for a third time. You're going to put the cape on against a team you played for the third time. Okay? Really? Because I'm pretty
Well,
sure that we know what you do.
I'm going to
That
tell you what.
our defensive coaches understand what they do. There's no surprises. There's no Gabe Davis. Who the hell's he throwing the ball to?
I think it's irrelevant, Chris. I think their two number one receivers are both out this week. So I don't know how they beat Denver. I think Buffalo might get smacked around.
Well, see, he's all over the place now, Joe.
No, but I'm okay with that, Chris. I'm just saying. I'm saying what because I don't know if you're going to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I understand what you're saying. I know. I think Buffalo's going to beat Denver. I picked them to beat Denver.
Oh, you do pick them. All right.
I did. I picked them yesterday. When we did the show for Saturday's show, I picked them to beat Denver. We don't know what's going to happen. You guys all, when you're hearing this, you knew the result, but we don't. No, I picked them to beat Denver, but I think when they get to New England, 3 in a row like that, going on the road, especially a team that knows you, I'd rather take my chances there.
Okay.
With that situation. So that's what I think. All right, but hey, we gotta go. We gotta go enjoy these, enjoy all these games. The Pats Nation was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England Feel. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, next week we're gonna have our full breakdown of this Texan game, along with our playoff breakdown, Catone's comments, and so much more. And come back to this show next Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully, we're gonna have our breakdown of the championship of the Patriots in the championship game. We'll see about that, but regardless, we'll break those games down. Anything you bring to the table, we'll be ready, and we will have Sunday spread, make you some money. We are the Pats Nation. Enjoy the game. Go Pats!
Go Pats!